Howdy folks, welcome back. As I have previously mentioned, I've been really busy and admittedly really lazy, so I've acquired a whole bunch of import orders that I have not opened, so I'm sharing that experience with all of you, handful of viewers right now, by opening up these orders. I recently tried out my first experiences buying from Mercari Japan. For it's a pretty long story, so I won't go into it. But I have been able to find on Mercari Japan some items that I have not been able to acquire or find from other sources. So let's see what all is in this order. Now, some of these orders, apologies for the noise, some of these orders I placed literally months ago, and I've just never gotten around to opening them. So I have honestly forgotten what's in some of these orders. So your surprise is also partially my surprise. Okay. Where did I put? All right, starting with whatever is in here. Okay. I'm not super happy. I'm not as happy with this purchase as I typically am. This was somewhat of a compromise. I did watch all, what was it? Was it 13? Snowball Earth was 13 episodes. Am I correct? I don't remember if it was 12 or 13. But I did watch all of the Snowball Earth television series. And it entertained me and frustrated me in equal measure. Now, I don't know exactly how popular Snowball Earth is or will become. I do know it is getting another season because the first series ended with a preview for the forthcoming next season. But I had an opportunity not to pick up the first appearance, but the first appearance plus the second cover. These two magazines combined were about $70, $75 or so. So somewhere around, if you include shipping, I probably paid somewhere around $40 a piece for them. Theoretically, this one's not really worth anything because it doesn't really have any historical value. It's just the cover. This is the first appearance of Snowball Earth. But if I average it out, if I think to myself that I paid somewhere between 40 and maybe say $50 for this one, or even if I paid 60 for this one and say 30 for this one, yeah, I'm okay with that. I would like to have gotten it a little bit cheaper, but considering how much people sometimes ask for this issue, getting it at the price I got it at, I'm not going to complain too much. I just wish I had been able to get it a little cheaper. But regardless, I do have one personal collection copy of the first appearance of Snowball Earth. The reason why I've resorted, you might say, to buying from Mercari is that you can find items like this on Mercari that you cannot find available on the Mandarake or Suragaya sites. You could argue that why don't I use, for example, Yahoo Japan auctions, Mandarake auction, Japanese auctions. It's just a little bit beyond me, or at least for now, it's a little bit beyond me, so I'm not going to deal with it. Only one item in this box, but it's a cool item. Or at least as far as I'm concerned, it's a cool item. Let's see, can I get this open easily to show this off? I think so, maybe. Okay. This... This 1991 issue of Shonen Sunday has an Ushio and Tora cover, but what's more important about it is the bottom here. This 1991 issue of Shonen Sunday is the first appearance of Ghost Sweeper Mikami. Yeah. Now, to my embarrassment, I will admit I have never watched all of the Ghost Sweeper Mikami anime. However, I do really like Ghost Sweeper GS Mikami, so this was a little bit pricey. This was, I think I paid somewhere around $50 for this. However, I've never been able to find another copy for sale, and since I like Ghost Sweeper Mikami, and since this is a now, 40-year-old, 30-year-old, 35-year-old magazine, I figured, yeah, okay, I'm willing to pay about $50 to own this. Let's see here. Okay. That's just packing material. We have collected quite a collection of these Mercari CCG cards now. This is a sheet of Japanese Dancing Blade postage stamps. I love Dancing Blade. This was originally, for those of you that are unfamiliar with it, it's an interactive animation video game. It originated as a PlayStation game, then moved into a complete edition on the Dreamcast. This was animated by... I don't now remember. I believe this was animated by Gonzo. Actually, now, it's been so long since I thought about it, I don't remember if this was animated by Kyoto Animation or if it was animated by Gonzo. But I'm pretty sure it was animated by one of those two studios. I try to collect Dancing Blade merchandise when I can, just because I played the video games back in the probably early 2000s. I really like the Dancing Blade franchise. When I saw that there were actual, legit, usable Japanese postage stamps, I thought that was really neat. So I wanted to pick those up. This is taped up, so if you'll give me just a sec to open up whatever this is. This is a duplicate copy. This is my second copy of the Minky Momo vs. Godzilla Volume 2 doujinshi. It does not actually say Volume 2 anywhere on the book. However, if you read the foreword on the inside, it's in Japanese, but if you read the foreword, it will specify that this is the second volume. There is a Volume 1. It is extremely rare, extremely difficult to find. The Volume 1 Minky Momo vs. Godzilla doujinshi is so scarce that just finding a picture of the cover is very difficult to do. But I do have Volumes 2, 3, and 4. This is my second copy of Volume 2. This was available on Mercari at it was only like $20. Now, you might think, well, that's a lot for a single comic, but for a vintage novelty doujinshi like this, I thought $20 was a pretty fair price. So since I was buying from Mercari anyway, I threw this into my order. Let's see. Right, this is another duplicate. This is the July 1995 issue of Dengeki Comic Gao. The reason why I bought this is because this is the first appearance of the Dirty Pair Flash manga. This is my second copy. I don't necessarily need another copy of this, but it was available pretty cheap, and it's a fairly scarce issue, so that's why I went ahead and picked this up. Let's see. I'm pretty sure that I know what this item is, but if I can manage to get this open, I believe, if I am not mistaken, I believe this is a Dirty Pair doujinshi. A very specific Dirty Pair doujinshi, but also a mysterious one. But I also could be mistaking this for something entirely different. So let's see. What? Okay, nothing else in there. What is this item? Yeah, I'm guessing that this is what I think it is. God. Crap. Alright, well, maybe not total crap. This is one of the, I believe, three. This is one of the Dirty Pair doujinshi self-published by Tsukasa Dokite. Tsukasa Dokite was the character designer for the Dirty Pair television series. This is one of the vintage 1980s Dirty Pair doujinshi. There are, as far as I'm aware, there are 3 printings of this book. The first printing has a white cover. The second printing has a tan cover. The third printing has a marbled white cover. When I saw this listed on eBay through a Japanese book dealer, the picture was of a blue cover. Very, very distinctly royal blue. So I wondered, what on earth is that? As far as I'm aware, there are only 3 covers and none of them are blue. So what is this? So I bought it. This is what arrived. This is a marbled white cover. That tells me this is a third printing. I have 2 of these already. I don't have a first printing. I don't have a second printing. I now have 3 copies of the third printing. Now, I paid about $75 for this because I thought I was buying some obscure, mysterious blue cover edition. Now, I'm not going to complain because usually this goes for about $100. So I'm not going to complain too much, but I am disappointed that it's not what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be a mysterious blue cover because that's what the photo showed. Now, on the subject of Dirty Pair doujinshi, actually, we'll see if I can get into these. Alright, actually, maybe I can. Maybe I can do it without... Maybe I can do it without damaging the contents. Alright. This came from Dojin Republic. It's a Japanese website specializing in doujinshi. I don't know whether or not I appreciate the fact that they labeled what it is with an R18. I have to laugh about that a bit. But, crap. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can get this open. I can share what's in here. I have been collecting Japanese dirty pair doujinshi since the late 90s. And I'll explain in just a second why that statement is relevant. I do not expect to ever get all of the Japanese dirty pair doujinshi, simply because I'm not sure if anyone knows how many exist. And there are occasionally still new ones being printed. But, let's see. Wow, okay, I had no idea that this book was so tiny. This book, as you can see, is tiny. Alright, you know what? I am not monetized on eBay, so I'm gonna trust the discretion of you viewers not to report me, and I'm gonna show you this cover because I think I can get away with it. Actually, the back cover is probably more provocative, so I'm not going to show you the back cover. But this is apparently not just a dirty pair tentacle doujinshi. This is a Futanari dirty pair tentacle doujinshi. Yeah, yeah, this is definitely homemade because the pages are not even the same size. But this is oh yeah, it's even folded. Oh yeah, this is literally just one page. So, you know, I appreciate that. Oh crap, now I'll have to figure out how to... Okay, there we go. That's how it folds back up. Alright. Yeah, I appreciate that there are still dirty pair fans creating in 2026 dirty pair doujinshi. Alright, technically speaking, there's no nudity on this cover, so I think I should, hopefully, none of you are so sensitive that you'll report me for this. Again, no nudity on this, it is art. I'm not monetized anyway, but another brand, relatively new. This one's like a year old, maybe less than a year, but new. Very, very clearly Xerox copied, homemade, Japanese dirty pair doujinshi. So another for my collection. Oh, I forgot that I bought this one. I thought I still needed this one. This one also a relatively recent, within the past year, dirty pair doujinshi. This is the second dirty pair book by this circle. I now have both of them. For a long time, I was avoiding collecting dirty pair flash doujinshi. However, at this point, I've collected enough dirty pair doujinshi that I think to myself, well, I may as well collect the flash ones also. So this is one of the flash books. Actually, it's Flash and Reunite. But one of the flash doujinshi that I did not have, so I picked this up. Here is another one of the dirty pair flash doujinshi that I did not have. Pick that one up. And to a certain degree, This completes my collection of Mental Specialist Dirty Pair Dojinshi. Mental Specialist is Yoshihisa Watanabe. He published six Dirty Pair Dojinshi. There are five numbered books plus a supplemental special. I started buying these in the late 90s. It has now taken me over 20 years. It has now taken me close to 30 years to finally get, quote, all, I say in air quotes, all of these. The reason why I say that is because issue 3 has two different covers. Issue 3 has a white cover, similar to this, and it has a cover that's gray on the back. All the background is gray. I have the gray background color, which seems to be slightly more available than the white cover. I have never seen the white cover actually available for sale anywhere, but I do not have the Volume 3 white background. So that's the one that I'm still looking for to fully complete my set of Yoshihisa Watanabe Dirty Pair Dojinshi. Let's see, inside this box, as you can tell, came from Suragaya. Okay. So if you watched my previous video, or possibly the video after this one, depending on which order these get uploaded in, you'll see that I got one of these in a different order, because these orders were so spaced out that I literally forgot that I bought one of these, so I ended up buying another one, apparently. Well, so it goes. Apparently I have two of them. Also have a magnificent Kotobuki Shikijiki. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this television series. It's from the creators of Girls in Panzer. This was the Girls in Biplanes action show. I did watch the entire TV show. I might be one of a handful of people that watched the entire TV show. It does have a small cult following in Japan. I did not have a Shikijiki from it. I thought it was neat that there was one, so I picked this up. I'm not entirely sure why I bothered to buy this. I think it's because it was really cheap. But this is the Ichigeki Sachu Hoi Hoi San OVA. This DVD was released with the limited edition manga, but this DVD was available separately, and I think it was like $5. It was so cheap that I decided, what the hell, I'll take it, just because it's so dirt cheap. I think I have 2 or 3 copies of this already. I've mentioned before that sometimes I buy Japanese editions of American comics to possibly sell at local conventions. These are 2 of the Spider-Man meets Ultraman tankobon. This is the complete volume 1 and 2 set. I have a couple sets of these. I'm positive now that I have 2 copies of this Elden Ring tankobon. Technically speaking, this is supposedly the first comic appearance of Elden Ring. I know that this was simultaneously published in print and online, but as far as I'm concerned, that still makes this a viable comic first appearance. The second season of Country Bumpkin Becomes a Master Swordsman is airing right now. I just watched this week's episode yesterday. So anybody that's watching that show may recognize this gal. I think it was just neat I like it when obscure characters get figures. I like it when sexy, obscure characters get figures. Oh, it looks like there was also a figure of Alicia. I did not know that she had a figure. So I'll have to try and get that too to make a matching pair. Okay, I won't bore you too much, but this is a big stack of Japanese Superman comics. These all come from 1978, 1979, thereabouts. Is there... Oh, yeah. Alright, so apparently the higher number ones ended up not being square bound, but just staple bound. I was not aware that they changed the printing format. And... wow. Okay. I don't know if there are multiple editions of this, or if I just bought one not knowing what exactly I was getting. Because I thought this was bigger than this. This is the Gundam Hatsune Miku. Except, as you can see, she's capsule toy sized. I thought she was bigger than this, or is there a version that's bigger than this? I'll have to look this up. So maybe I bought the wrong one, because I was under the impression that she was going to be bigger than this. This should be the Dirty Pair 40th anniversary art book with some bonus premiums. Should be, that's what I believe this is. I got this, I think, literally more than a month ago, and I just have not gotten around to opening it. Yes. Okay. This particular book is actually a 2-book set that comes in a dust jacket. It was a limited edition Japanese release. It was available directly through Bandai and I think one other retailer. And it was never released widely, so it was very difficult to acquire. It was also $100 at release. So I ended up paying about $170. I believe I ended up paying about $170. But for $170, that got me the slipcase, both of the chipboard box. They are softcover, but both of the hefty softcover 30th anniversary Dirty Pair WWA 40th anniversary report art books, a pair of Dirty Pair rubber keychains, a pair of Dirty Pair acrylic standees with the stand. The stand is in here. And the freebie printed mini shikishi that came with, that was a premium for pre-ordering and picking up the art book. So yeah, all of this shipped was, I think, around $170. You might say that's pretty expensive for a $100 book, but considering that the book by itself sometimes lists for over $200, yeah, I think I actually got a decent deal on this. I would have been happier had I been able to just buy it at retail. But as I said, unless you were actually a Japanese citizen, it was very, very difficult to acquire. This Surrogate order. Let's see. All right, this is taped up. This is taped up pretty well, so forgive me for not opening it. This is a Symphogear Swiss Army knife. This is an official Victorinox Swiss Army knife. It has the conventional red handles. It has Chris from Symphogear silkscreened on the front panel in white. Now, I would have preferred Hibiki, who is the main character, but I don't know if a Hibiki version actually exists. I have seen multiple issues of the Chris edition, which is what this is. I believe I paid somewhere around $70 for this, which is about double what a normal Swiss Army knife like this costs. But this is a Japanese import anime Symphogear edition, so to me it's worth the extra cost. Okay. This I picked up. I'm glad that this is actually in a box, because this is one of these things that can only be Japan. All right, this is a Kantai collection, and it's still boxed. This is a Kantai collection fried chicken holster. This clips on your belt, so you can buy a paper carton of fried chicken nuggets at the Lawson convenience store and drop it into this plastic container so you can carry around chicken nuggets on your belt. Okay, how could I not buy this? How could I not collect an anime item of this degree of absurd weirdness? A Kantai collection chicken nuggets holster. It makes me happy just to even say that. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Maybe my cameraman can tell me. I don't know if you can see that there is a Toro up there. Okay, we can maybe tilt the tripod or the camera, either. But you can see that there's a, hopefully you can see it. There's a Toro white PlayStation cat up there. This is another Toro. This is, if you can see it correctly, this is Toro singing under a kotatsu. It's actually a little case. You can keep coins or your car keys or loose change inside it. The top lifts off. I think this was a little bit expensive. This was like $20-something, but that's about half what they seem to go for on eBay. And I thought this was just so super neat that I just had to have it. So I didn't really care that it was kind of expensive for what it is. Okay, let's see. What is this? All right. This is a first edition of the Trap Dance manga. Sorry, doujinshi. There are, I believe there are 4 editions of this doujinshi, and I don't know what's different about them, but this is a first printing. I don't know if that's good or bad. I just know that it's a first printing. But this is the co-created doujinshi of Kenichi Sonoda and Yagami Toshihiro. Did I say that right? Yoshihisa Tagami and Kenichi Sonoda. Yoshihisa Tagami, the creator of Cleopatra D.C., and Kenichi Sonora, the creator of Gunsmith Cats, joined forces to create this crossover doujinshi. I thought that was super neat, so I did pick up one of these for my personal collection. This was a little bit expensive, not crazy expensive, but a little bit expensive. But I think it's neat enough that I just really wanted to have a copy in my personal collection. This is yet another copy of the Japanese first reprinting of the Jim Lee era X-Men. I picked this up just to possibly pass this off to an American collector, X-Men, American comic collector. I picked this up. Typically these are really cheap. Forgive me, I forgot the title of this manga. Kyoshi-kun? I apologize. When I'm doing this off the cuff, there are just things that I'll just simply get wrong or that I'll forget. But I saw an article online that predicted that this might possibly become one of the next big hit popular shonen manga. So I decided, well, while I can pick up the first appearance pretty affordably, like $15, $20, I'll pick it up. I think I now have 2 copies of this issue. This is the first appearance of Sorcerer. I apologize. If I am not mistaken, all right, somewhere here in my house is the magazine with the first appearance of the Kamichu manga. If I am not mistaken, with that magazine including a mail-away offer for a Kamichu tapestry. This is the mail-away tapestry. So I wanted to have this just because Kamichu is one of my favorite anime, and I wanted to have this to pair it with the magazine that it, in a sense, came with. And it's going to be difficult to show what this is, but actually, if I can get this sticker off, this is a Kiniro mosaic tapestry, or you might prefer to call it a wall scroll, whichever you prefer. I don't know how well that will show up, if you'll be able to see it or not, but there's the image of what's on this wall scroll. As I mentioned, the Kiniro mosaic girls. Alright, getting finally toward the end of all of this backlogged boxes. There are actually more, but the other boxes I have not opened are all American comics, so I'm not going to bore you with those. There we go. There we go. I knew this was in here somewhere. This is the Comic Noisy appearance, which, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first appearance of Riding Bean. It's debatably the first appearance of Gunsmith Cats. Now, Raleigh Vincent does appear in this issue. However, she has a slightly different character. She has a different character design than she does in Gunsmith Cats. And I know the Gunsmith Cats manga launched in a different magazine a couple years later. I do not have that magazine yet. I'm still trying to acquire a copy of that. But if I'm not mistaken, this should be the first appearance of Riding Bean from Kenichi Sonora. And last and hopefully not least, out of what I will be sharing with you today, here, I mentioned in a previous video that I pick these up when I am able to get them at an affordable price. First appearance of Akane Banashi, first appearance of Kill Blue or Kill Owl. I know that this one of these copies ended up costing me around $20. The other copies were cheaper. These, I've gotten a couple of these at around $5 a piece. So at that price, I'm just collecting multiple copies. I'm hoping that, I really liked Akane Banashi. I don't know how many other people liked it, but I'm hoping it just turns into something a little bit more investment worthy, something a little bit more collectible. I think this might be my 4th copy, because I know there's one down here beside me. I think there's another 1 or 2 copies on the floor over there. I ended up paying more than I really wanted to for this Shonen Jump issue. This is a November 1985 Shonen Jump. If you don't recognize it, this is the first appearance of Chi-Chi. This is the first appearance of the little girl who would grow up to become Son Goku's wife in Dragon Ball, the mother of Son Goten, the mother of Son Gohan. This is her first appearance when she's a little girl and she decapitates a Tyrannosaurus. Now, I initially bought a copy of this magazine at an affordable price, but when I took a good look at it, I realized it was in really, really poor condition. So it bothered me enough that I really wanted a replacement. I don't actually even care that much about Chi-Chi. But because I had a copy in such bad condition, I just psychologically had to replace it. So I spent a little bit more than I really wanted to. I think I ended up paying like 60 or 70 bucks for this, which is really more than I really wanted to pay for it. But as I said, I just couldn't live with that terribly beat up copy that I had. So this personal collection copy. And finally, a couple more Japanese Superman comics. So that's mostly what I've been buying and sitting on lately. I do have yet another box from Mercari on the way. I don't know whether or not I will record a YouTube video for that. But regardless, I do hope that I've kept you entertained through watching this video. If you're still watching, I appreciate your patronage, even though I'm not actually getting anything out of it. So I hope that I am giving you something to chew on, something to enjoy, something to pass your time. Thanks for watching if you're still watching, and bye for now.